presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
Good evening and welcome everyone to the Elgin Owls Coaches Show as we get ready for the 2026 version of your Elgin Owls here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. I'm Vincent Saylor, joining you tonight from Burrito Miko, as we are most of the time on Tuesday, but this week we had to push it back to Wednesday because of practice schedule with 105-degree weather out there. Decided to push practice back last couple of days, so we are here on a Wednesday, but throughout the season we'll be here on Tuesday nights at Burrito Miko. I want to thank Miguel and all of the guys that here at Burrito Miko, not only his Elgin location but also his Lawton location, for everything that they do for not only just Elgin High School football but Elgin community and the communities that Miko has places in as well. So I want to thank those guys. Got a great show for you tonight. We're going to preview the upcoming Bethany game, but also going to preview the 2026 season as a whole. Got Coach Wyatt here tonight and seniors Kaysen Meyer and Caden Boletto alongside as well. So things have changed obviously this year. Owls, as you've heard throughout the offseason, have now moved back up to 5A. In 4A, had a great run at 4A with state title in 2024 and a runner-up in 2025. Finished our 2 years back down in 4A at 27-1, so great time there. But now moving back up to 5A as we got, like I said, ADM kind of got passed and moved right back on up to 5A. So some familiar opponents on our schedule. We'll talk about our schedule as we move forward throughout the night. We are now members of District 5A2 alongside Altus, MacArthur, Shawnee, El Reno, Newcastle, and Southeast. Our 2026 schedule is as follows. We've got Bethany this week coming up, a big one at Friday at Southern Nazarene College there on the campus of Southern Nazarene. So got a big one against Bethany. Last time Bethany and Elgin faced was in the playoffs, and Owls moved past Bethany. So Bethany's got some revenge on their mind as we ended their season last year. So we'll preview that game a little. As you can see, next week we go to Guthrie again. Then the week after that, got the rubber match, Game 3 against Tuttle here at the Nest, our first home game. That'll be on September 11th, that Friday. Then we got Battle of the Wichitas against Cache. So then we start district play. Like I said, MacArthur, Newcastle, Southeast, El Reno, Altus, and Shawnee. Our district only has 7 teams, so that's why we have 4 non-district games. As you can see, our non-district schedule this year is a little beefed up. I think that'll help us moving on as we get through and hopefully get into the playoff push. We'll have been tested a little. Like I said, last couple years, kind of ran through that non-district schedule, so kind of front-loaded it a little this year so that way we can get battle-tested early on and get these boys get up and ready for the season to come. Said, as we always talk about, well, I mean, obviously we're far away from playoff seedings and things like that, but as we talk about, those non-district schedule has no bearing on the playoff seedings or whatnot. It's all related to how you finish in district play. So got those tough tests early on, which is good to see how things are going and where this team stacks up against the normal teams. Got a great season for you. We've got 16 schools now on the Oklahoma Sports Network, so join us every week as you can. Billy Palmer will be joining me again this year on the call for the Elgin Owls, and really look forward to a fun season after 2 great seasons. Well, several seasons in a row of great seasons, but obviously got 2 big seasons in a row. Like I said, with the state championship in 2024 and the state runner-ups in 2025. It's got a little bit of a bad taste in our mouth currently, but hey, that's okay. We're ready to get this thing rolling and see where this 2026 version of the Elgin Owls can take us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will have head coach Chalmer Wyatt to kind of preview what's been going on in the offseason, a little bit about the Bethany game, and what to expect from this 2026 version of the Elgin Owls. As always, you're watching Elgin Owl football here on the Oklahoma Sports Network, where sports is our middle name.
Statewide sports, just a click away. This is the Oklahoma Sports Network. Every match, every game, every play. This is the Oklahoma Sports Network. Sports
And we're back here at Burrito Miko as I'm joined alongside head coach, the head owl himself, Chalmer Wyatt. Coach, congratulations. Last time we talked, you were only a dad of one, I believe. So dad of two now. Got 3 girls in the house.
Yeah, I'm lonely.
So, yeah, it's, I understand your pain, very much so. So we'll have our 2 girls join probably a little bit later on. But so how's things at home, and how's the adjustment to the new one at the house?
It's been good. She was born Wednesday of the state championship, and I was just so glad to get her, into the world safely and get to the game Friday. But everything's good. She's a good baby. She's a better baby than her sister was, for sure. And it's good. It's great watching them grow up and all that, and had a good summer with them. So good adjustments all. Mama's doing good. Mama's a stud. So I'm appreciative of that during the fall.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. Now, all right, so let's move on to the season. We talked a little bit about it on the introduction and whatnot. We're moving back up to 5A. Had a great run in 4A, obviously 27-1 in those 2 years. A state title in 24, runners-up in 25. Obviously we were in 5A a couple years ago, so a lot of similar opponents or whatnot. So talk a little bit about that and kind of where, what the expectations are in 5A. At the end of the day, you line up and you play whoever's on the schedule. But, there is a little bit of a difference there in 5A compared to 4A. So talk a little bit about that adjustment and what we should expect with 5A.
Yeah, we definitely learned a lot when we were there the first time. And, these guys were sophomores when we were there, and a lot of them at that point were on the field. And so we'll have some common opponents. We'll have some things that will be familiar to us. But, it's kind of what you said. It's kind of line up and snap the ball against somebody. Every game's tough. What we had in 4A, and every game will be tough here in 5A. So, and I think our non-district schedule helps out with that too, to prepare us for district games and all the things we want to do down the road.
Talk a little bit about that non-district schedule. Obviously, you got the big one against Bethany, and later on in the show we'll kind of preview that one. But talk a little bit about the thought process there. Obviously, in the non-district schedule, we pull up the schedule early. I'll pull it up as we're kind of talking about the non-district schedule a little. Going to Bethany, going to Guthrie, then have Tuttle at home, and then Battle of Wichita's against Cache. Thought the last couple of years, obviously, we ran through that non-district schedule pretty good, but obviously – teams are a little bit higher opponents this time. So talk a little bit about kind of the thought process there and what you like seeing, against some of those good opponents there early on.
It goes back to when we reclassified. We were, one of the few schools that changed classes, so that really affected our schedule from who we had previously in non-district to, who we were going to play moving forward. So, and then at that point it's kind of call around and see who wants to play, and I think that what we've done the last few years has made it a little bit more difficult in ways to find games because it's a mutual agreement.
Right.
And
it's a 2-year agreement. Am I correct
on
that?
Agreement, okay. Yeah, and we've been on both sides of that thing, and I definitely see it. Coming when we were kind of getting this program going. I'm looking at the schools that kind of have it going, and they're playing tough games. and that's what you want at the end of the day. You
Yeah.
know, you fans want to see it. It's good competition. It's going to make us better, win or lose.
Right.
And that's where we're at, and I think it works out well. You know, the only hiccup, in my opinion, is the 4-6 home and away.
Yeah.
Of course, that will flip next year, so we'll get those games back. But, you know, they're going to prepare us for district. You know, I think that the total game is really cool. You know, Coach Ballard and I thought that let's just do it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then
Kind of the rubber
obviously,
match, I guess
yeah.
you could say.
Bethany, playoff team, played them last year. Always, you know, year in, year out, they are always good. And then Guthrie, obviously, played them a few years ago. They're a storied program with a lot of toughness, and,
Right.
and we get to go up there to that stadium, which will be really cool. And then we get the rivalry game. You know, you get the Battle of the Wichitas with Cash. So there's a lot of good mixture there. There's a lot of high-quality opponents, and so I'm looking forward to it. You know, like you said, we've kind of had a non-district schedule in the past where we've got through it, and you know, maybe we could have learned more if we were playing better people at that time. So, no, I'm excited for it, and it's definitely going to be a challenge, and that's what we've been preparing for all summer.
What's the name of that Guthrie? Is it the Rock or?
Well, yeah. Don't ask. If you ask Altus, they're going to say theirs is the Rock.
Okay.
So
I have not been to.
field.
I have not been to that Guthrie Stadium, so I'm really looking forward
Yeah.
to seeing that stadium and kind of how everything is set up there. But obviously we got Bethany first. We've been to Bethany in the past, so yeah, it's we've got some good things going there. No sound. Let's see. Just got a text message that we may not have any sound, but hopefully that's just Coach Castro that's having technical difficulties and not the entire crew. So we're going to keep rolling as if we have sound. That's the only message I've got so far, so hopefully we're okay there. Let's take a quick break, though, and make sure that we're good there. We'll come back and kind of preview some of the offense, defense, and special teams there. You're watching Elgin Owl Coaches Show here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Did you see his text?
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
And we're back, so not to call out not to call out Coach Castro or anything, but it would help if he turned on the volume on his TV. We got the second text message, so sorry for the little interruption there, but we're back here at Burrito Miko, as we will be during every game week during the season, usually on Tuesday. We had to push this one back to Wednesday with the potential of with the weather and things like that. So, Coach, we're back. Obviously, got to replace some big seniors from last year, no doubt about that. But obviously got Caden coming back and got a lot of the offensive line. So let's talk a little bit about the offense. Let's start with that offensive line first. I mean, got 3 starters returning from the playoff push with Usher, Hudson Begley, and Jackson Deal there. So talk a little bit about what to expect from up front and kind of how the big guys have been handling things so far in camp.
It's been a really healthy competition. We've had, probably 8 guys in the mix that we had penciled in to be a projected starter, and it's kind of, worked itself out where guys have stepped up, guys have been extremely solid, and those 3 you started out with have gotten better. And, one of the bright spots from our scrimmage I thought was the offensive line.
Yeah.
They did a really good job. Obviously Hudson and Jackson played a ton of games, and Jaden got a ton of experience last year in a playoff run, started state championship game as a sophomore. And then we've got Ronnie Rojas, we've got Micah Keybone, we've got Trip Dotson, we've got Keelan and Caden Phillips, and we're just really deep, with some quality guys that are in the mix. And as we get through non-district, nothing might not be solid, or set, which is great because we've got guys that are options, and it's been really healthy for competition and seeing the growth in all of those guys. And so, I like where we're at on the offensive line. And then if you want to move to the skill positions.
Yeah, moving to the wide receivers right now.
Okay.
Obviously, Brody Morrison, most starts in Elgin High School history. Hudson Begley's got a chance to break that this year, depending on how far, hopefully, we make it in the playoffs and things like that. So Hudson's got a chance to maybe overtake that. Got to replace him, obviously, but also got a bunch of guys that had contributed a ton back at that position. Kaysen, Joey, Corday. I think guys like that, Keegan, is going to have a bigger role, I believe, as well. So talk a little bit about those guys and what you see from the receiving corps so far.
Hey, there's a lot of talent in that room. There's a lot of guys that can go make plays. There's a lot of guys that can go play different positions at the wide receiver spot, and it's been healthy. We're kind of rotating at will and moving guys, here one play, here the other play, and we're about six deep there that we can roll, depending on what personnel we're in. But Kaysen's had a lot of snaps at inside receiver. Right. Joey played every game for us out wide last year. Corday was in the mix and can do a lot of things with the ball in his hands. Keegan is a guy that kind of knows multiple spots, so we can move him around as we need. Cordell Alexander has really kind of come onto the scene. He's extremely fast. He was in the finals in the 100-meter dash last spring. And Aiden Hust is a senior that, was here in 5th grade. Now he moved back, and he's got a lot of promise there. So, we're deep, and now it's just kind of what guys can do well and benefit us most and, and then be successful themselves at the wide receiver spot.
Now let's move on to the tight ends. It's near and dear to your heart. It's kind of one of your actual positions that you coach or whatnot. Got a lot of them coming back. Lucas was only there kind of the 1 year, but Tucker's back, Caleb's back, Jake Deal's back. So got a lot of depth there. Talk a little bit about that group and what you expect out of those guys.
They've been in the system. A lot of those guys were rotators on varsity last year. So Jake Deal's been really solid, and Tucker's going to be that tall, that pass threat that we can be kind of multiple with. Caleb is extremely good in the run game. His footwork's incredible. He's very coachable. And then Brody's kind of a guy that can do a little bit of everything.
Right.
He's got good hands, and he's physical. So we've got a really good mixture. I'd like to have them all about Adam Eaton and Lucas Young's height, but I'll take some guys that do some things well within their frame and be tough, and that's what I got. And I'm proud of those guys. And you may or not know this, but I double duty a little bit with the wide receivers, so I've got to be around those guys.
Okay, good.
And I really like kind of the new approach and their kind of mindset, and they're getting after it more than maybe they were in the past. So that's been fun too. So we kind of coordinate practice to let me be around both of those spots.
You've got experience there. That's kind of what you played.
Yeah.
So that always helps, obviously, as well. Moving on to running backs, we'll save Caden for the end there. But moving on to running backs, obviously Tiny returns.
Yep.
Has played a ton for us the last couple of years. Has been a huge playmaker, so everybody kind of knows what to expect out of him. But talk a little bit about where that second, ever since I've been with you guys and you've been here, kind of always had that 1-2 punch with Matt and Ritson, and then Ritson and Tiny, and now got to find that second guy behind Tiny. So talk a little bit about the running back room and what you expect out of those guys. Obviously, Tiny has played a ton of football, but obviously Dalvin and John Lohman are doing a good job there so far. So talk a little bit about them.
It's a blessing to have that depth for 5 years now. Having two guys that can spell themselves and have different different talents. We've had it with Matt and Ritson where it was kind of thunder and lightning, if you will, and then we kind of had it roles reversed with Braxton and Ritson.
Right.
But now Braxton's a senior, and now we've got 3 seniors
that
are taking a lot of carries and rotating. And so whatever happens, we're going to have a good rotation there at running back because we've got Braxton who has a ton of carries behind those guys, and then John has had a lot of promise, pretty complete back. And then Dalvin is kind of your wild card, man. When he hits it at 6'2", 208,
he looks the part.
It looks different. And talk about a kid that's just worked and tried to get better. And he's put himself in a great spot for his senior year. And
Yeah,
I wish, him nothing but the best and success, and he's earned it, So I feel comfortable with any of those three guys in the game. Obviously Braxton is the most experience on the field and can change the game, with the carry. So have no problem any down, any time rolling those guys out there. And, as Braxton's going to play some defense and John's going to play some defense, then, they're going to have to pick up slack on the other side. So it's a good problem to have. And probably if we've been too deep the last few years, I'd say we're 3 deep there. So that's good.
Yeah, and like I said, that was a great kid to root for and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, like I said, the improvement that he's made, because he didn't start playing football until his sophomore year of high school. So, the improvement that he's made being out there during camp and stuff like that is phenomenal. So look forward to hopefully him having a big year. And John Lohman as well, another easy kid to root for, hard worker, and has put into his time here in the program as well. And last but not least, me, I always like to geek out about quarterback stuff and whatnot. Yeah. So, coming into last year, had not started a game or anything like that, replaced a 4-year starter, but had a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the improvement that you've seen from game 1 to now, and what we expect out of Caden Boletto and what he's going to take this team to.
Looking back now, in hindsight, we didn't know kind of where he was at with taking over, but he was ready for that moment, and he had an incredible year with learning the offense, running the show in the huddle, making checks, and our offense is we look simple, but we're really, really multiple. So he's got to be really on top of what we do, and so did a great job, and we kind of kept him in a lens to be successful, which worked within our system. And now, we're tagging a few things that lets him have a little bit more freedom because he's earned it, and he's trustworthy. And me and him have kind of, and just like Trace, this is what I had with Trace. We had kind of this relationship where I can just signal or look at him, and we're on the same page already, which is good with just being his second year. And so we're going to continue to put things on him, and maybe ask more out of him, to pick up slack wherever it is elsewhere. And he's grown really exponentially in his leadership and just his want to. He loves football, and if a kid loves football, then he's going to want to do right. You know what I mean? And so he's been up for all the challenges, whether it be a talk we have or whether it's you got one more rep or whatever it is. Because as you know, as a quarterback's got to lead from the front to the back to the stuff that's not seen. And he's growing every day, and that's what makes it fun for me is he's continuing to grow and become more. Yeah,
what I've seen a ton out of him in the days that I've been out there at camp and things like that is the talent's always been there. The arm talent's always been there. He's been able to throw it through the roof. But, now you can see he has more command of the offense, has more command of the huddle. Like I said, it has more leadership capabilities and whatnot. Those were there last year, but it's, you're a new starter and things like that. But just like I said, to see his growth on the leadership side and just the command side of not only just the huddle and the offense, but the whole team as a whole, too. They understand now that they're rallying around him. So it's a cool thing.
I'll say this too: we're deep at the quarterback spot. We've got Jake Croft, who was our backup last year, has got a ton of experience, and I forgot to mention that he's going to be playing some receiver too for us. And then Cade Phillips is learning our system, and he's got a lot of arm talent as he kind of settles into what we do. Like we're going to have some good depth there at that spot too.
So just to kind of put a bow on the offense there, we talked about most of the guys that be contributors and things like that, and a lot of the returners. Is there, one or two young kids, or not even necessarily young, could be a senior or something like that, just kind of newcomers that for us to look at on offense? I know you kind of mentioned Cordell there, but anybody else that you can, think of on the top of your head and whatnot?
Yeah, the first two guys that kind of come to my mind is Trip Dotson and Micah Keybone on the offensive line.
Yeah.
They're continuing to battle out for that right guard spot, and there's a lot of promise and a lot of drive in both of them. So. However that works out, it'll work out the right way. And, I know Trip's going to play some defense, and then probably, obviously Dalvin, I'm really excited for him to get some carries under his belt, early in football games and see where that goes. And Cordell as well. But, we're talented on offense, but, it's going to be the little things that's going to, put us in the right spot to make plays. And that's our choice, and that's our, commitment to do that. And we got to believe in that. But, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and kind of talk defense and special teams before we get a little bit into the Bethany game. So, as always, you're watching Elgin Owl Coaches Show here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Search Oklahoma Sports Network and watch from anywhere.
And we're back here at Burrito Miko, as we will be every week during game week. Have the Elgin Owl Coaches Show. I want to thank Miguel and all of his staff here, not only at his Elgin location, but in his Lawton location as well. Come out and check him out. He's got a little bit of barbecue going on now. Got some sushi as well. And obviously always spinning the great Mexican food. And also got a bar here as well. So that's always something to look forward to as well. So I want to thank Miguel for everything, not only that he does for OSN and the community, but I mean everything he does for the community. I mean, last couple of years he's been named our super supporter for the program. So really want to thank him for everything he does for the Elgin community as a whole. But, Coach, moving on to the defense, we talked a little bit about Castro kind of interrupting our program there for a little while. Also, remiss that he's still as our offense coordinator. Defense coordinator, still Jack Baker, will be led by Jack Baker as well. So let's talk a little bit about the defense. And we talked a little bit about the offensive line on the front end. So let's talk about the defensive line. I mean, everything's going to start up front with those guys. They've always done a great job up there and got a lot of guys back that have a lot of experience. So talk a little bit about that front three and what we expect out of those guys.
Yeah, Hudson played a lot, Caleb played a lot, Tucker played a lot, and those guys are back. I think that they can be very disruptive, when they're being disciplined. I think that they've, have flashes of being really, really good, and it's just putting it all together all the time. We're going to have some depth on the D-line. We've got some guys that are rolling. Trip Dotson's rolling at nose. That kind of frees Hudson up a little bit on the inside.
Yeah.
And out wide, we've got, the Phillips twins, Aiden Mayer, Jack Bybee, who are kind of guys that are on the cusp that we're going to need some depth from as they grow and are ready for it. But defensively, Caleb had an incredible scrimmage.
Yeah.
He's just, again, very sound. He's a discipline. He's coachable, and that's what you get, when you're like that. And Tucker, Tucker can go change the game when he's on. He's good around the edge, and he's dynamic. So, I really like our defensive line. I like our depth with guys coming on, and it's going to be fun to watch as those guys are pretty disruptive and athletic and can get down the hill line and make some plays.
Yeah.
And, with what we do, they're going to have to move. They're going to have to chase the football, and they know that, and I think they're going to be really good at it just from who they are and kind of physically and mentally.
It's kind of funny, like I said, I mean, I'm sure people out there that are watching that don't follow Elgin football that closely or whatnot probably are thinking, how many Adesolas do they have and how many Myers do they have? Because every time you look up, there's an Adesola making a play, a Meyer making a play, and things like that. Yeah, we need more of them, but looks like Caleb's the last in line. Only a junior, though, so looking forward to big things out of him. Cason's obviously going to be a senior, but also got Jensen in there and still third grade, so we got another one coming up in the near future potentially. But talking about Cason, let's move into the linebacker core. Obviously, got big things out of him. He was quarterback of that defense last year. Did a great job there. Led the team in tackles. Obviously, he's back in the middle and kind of being that quarterback of the defense. But talk about the linebacker core as a whole. What to expect out of those guys.
Yeah, I'll finish with Cason.
Okay.
So on our bandit spots, our strong side outside linebacker, which was Philip Peebushy, who did an incredible job for us. Jace Johnson's rotating there. Jace Johnson has kind of took that job. We've got Aiden Huss that's playing there. Cade Phillips is playing there as well. So there's a lot of depth there. And, Jace has been a kid that's kind of needed to find a spot to kind of take over. And, he plays extremely hard. He's physical. He doesn't get tired, and this is going to be big experience for him to kind of take that over and do the things it takes to be successful and be a great tackler and set the edge and, going to have to play on a tight end and all those things. And he's got the makeup for it. Now I'm just excited to go watch him do it. At Will, we've got really, really quality guys there with Brody Donnelly and Jake Deal. Both of them have a lot of experience as well. Brody played some big-time snaps in some playoff games last year. And both different linebackers, both different styles. And, I envision those guys playing a lot and making us better, especially early on when it's hot and we got to rotate guys. At our dog spot, we've got Braxton back, who's very dynamic, and Barron Hunter is a junior that has done a great job through fall camp, taking a ton of reps there. He's smart. He knows both sides. He's kind of grimy and tough and plays extremely hard. Knows how to get down the line, chasing from the backside, and is doing a good job feeling his pass drops. And knowing where to be. And he's a tough kid, wrestler, good tackler. And so got depth there again. And so we're excited about that as well. That's a senior and a junior there. And then at Mike, Kaysen did an incredible job for us last year calling it. And I've seen some growth out of him this year as well. I hope to see him, become a better tackler, which he was a great one last year.
Right.
You can never be too good at it, right? But just kind of now learning more than just calling it, knowing it. Now he kind of can put the puzzle pieces together a little bit.
Right.
And like if me and Caden have a good relationship, him and Coach Baker have a great relationship too. And that dynamic's been fun to watch. And he's a charismatic kid.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. He's got a good heart, and his leadership is what you want, and I want him to continue to do that and build that. And it's good to have your Mike be that guy for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Sam Jockner's behind him, so we've got depth there. He's been in the program forever.
Yeah.
And those 4 inside linebackers can play either spot, so that helps as well.
Yeah, it does a ton. And like I said, one thing I'd like to see out of Kaysen so far in the camp and things like that is, like I said, he's also kind of stepped up that leadership role. He knows, obviously, this is his last year. And he's, like I said, he's kind of – I think it was yesterday, he was moving some of the scout team guys around. Hey, this isn't how you line up, because he knew the look that was supposed to be there and things like that. So it's good to kind of see, because at some point, I mean, you guys can do as much as you can as coaches and yell and scream at the end, but at some point the locker room's got to take care of themselves.
Yeah, the smart ones see it, and the smart ones need to go do it.
Right, and I mean, because at that point, I mean, no offense to the coaches or anything, but a lot of times it's more heartfelt and whatnot when it comes from another player, and you got to kind of
tired of hearing me talking.
Right, at times, especially at this point of the season when you're you're not really preparing for a game and things like that. Talk a little bit about that kind of in the preparation. This year, the OSAA gave you an extra week. So, I mean, that did. I mean, last year with that was it Mac? I think we only had maybe 2 weeks of practice for that one, and got that extra week. I mean, has that played into kind of how things have worked out in the offseason a little?
Yeah, it changed our summer just a little bit because we're going to start in the 1st of August. But, we just took it as an extra week of practice. We're maybe a little lighter and get our feet under us before we actually kind of got into some physical football practice. And so we've been kind of just taking a little bit smaller steps than we would have if we didn't have that extra week. So it got long. I think some coaches will say it gets long, especially when we're scrimmage and then 0 week. But I think it's been good. I think we took advantage of it the right way. So I don't know. We'll see if I like it going into next year or not. We'll change some things.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so let's talk. We kind of went off course a little there, but let's talk lastly about the DBs. Okay. Kind of what to see from those guys. Like I said, Keegan's played a bunch of football. Corday obviously was a starter every week, basically, for the most part last year. Got to replace Brody, a 4-year starter back there. But talk a little bit about the DBs and who's going on back there and what we should expect from those guys.
Yeah, we are very experienced back there. We've got John back, Corday back. We've got Keegan back, and we've got Joey that's kind of took a spot at safety, and it's been good to. That's what I like about DBs. They're pretty close friends, but they do a great job of communicating. It's one thing to just talk to somebody, but they're communicating actively in the back end, and I think that's one of the biggest recipes for success in the back end is to communicate, be on the same page, get aligned. And talk through coverages and be on top of stuff. And, our DB coaches have really done a good job with that, Coach Eastwood and Coach Hughes. So that's the main thing I've seen from them. We've got, behind those guys, Colson Boyce actually led us in interceptions last year at the corner. Logan Scholl is knocking on the door. I think that's a very, very quality football player that's just behind somebody right now. You know what I mean? And then Cordell's coming on a little bit. Logan Willett's another corner that's a senior that kind of knows the system. And so I'm excited to watch those guys just work in unison. 'Cause
Yeah.
we've had some of that in the past, and it's been really, really beneficial. They can check into their own coverage at times when we get to that point, and just kind of just know each other. Trust each other, and we got to continue to build that. But I like where we're at right now. It's been fun to watch, and I'm excited to see if that shows up Friday.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit, like we talked about a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. We talked about most of the guys on defense, but any newcomers that on the defensive side that you're really looking forward to that to have a big role compared to what they're from last year?
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for Keegan to take over, at corner potentially all year. I'm excited for Barron Hunter to get some meaningful reps. I think he's a kid that loves football and wants to do it. I'm excited for Jace Johnson. He's just been a program kid that's kind of been kind of wandering, and he found his thing, and I want to see him go run with it. I want to see him be successful and all those things that it takes to do it. I'm excited for Brody Donnelly. I think that he's kind of primed for a role to go make some big time plays. Because he's got it athletically, and he can make some impact plays as well. So those are probably some guys that I stick out probably the most off the top of my head defensively.
Yeah, during camp, I mean, the days that I've been out there, I mean, the two, like you said, Brody and Jace have really stuck out to me. And like I said, looking for big things out of those guys this year. Ian graduated last year. I got a new kicker in, and kind of so talk a little bit about the special teams as a whole and what we should expect out of them. I know Kaysen punted some last year, so kind of talk a little bit about those guys and who's going to fill in those roles.
Okay. Yeah, it starts with the kicker. We went to the soccer team and recruited another one. Mason Wade, he actually played football in middle school, so he was a little bit familiar kind of with the program and stuff. Okay. But hey, he's bought in. He's all in.
He's got a leg.
He does. He did a good job in Summer Pride. That's kind of where you find out if your guy's just going to be a kicker is, maybe tough enough to do it, and he is. And he's learning. He works hard at practice. Practice can be really long, 2 hours. You're just kicking the whole time.
Right.
But he does a good job of working, kickoffs, field goals, extra points, onside kicks, all those things that, we're going to need him to do. And so I'm excited to see him. He put one into the wind today off the kickoff to the 1. And as he gets good, on good days I've seen him put it 6-7 yards deep. Yeah. So that's going to help our defense out a lot.
Just that extra yardage that they have to go. I mean, that's a big weapon there.
I think he was 5 for 5 on extra points and field goals from hashes today, so that was good to see. With that field goal operation, Jacksonville and Hudson can short snap. We've got Jake Croft holding. Kaysen also can hold, so we've got guys there. Our punt looks a little bit different. We've got, typically, and as we do, we've got some linebackers and tight end bodies to protect it. We've got Cade Phillips, personal protector, and then Jake Croft has stepped into the punting role.
Okay.
Got a really good leg, does a good job getting it off, and I think we can go cover those punts pretty well with his hang time. And then we've got Mason as a senior, and then we've got Grayson Dye as a sophomore that has some good pop in his leg, and as he continues to get stronger, we hope that he can be the next guy, and I'll claim him as a homegrown football player since he played last year as a freshman. So he won't be a kicker
there you go.
From our high school soccer team.
There you go.
But yeah, like we're at special teams, we got to do a better job of that. Obviously, last game we played was a 3-point game.
Right.
We snapped it over the head for a safety, and then we missed an extra point. So there's 3 points, and so got to put emphasis on all the things all the time. You can't take your foot off the gas.
All right, well, that kind of wraps up that. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back after that to kind of touch on Bethany a little before we get Caden and Kaysen up here to kind of end the show. So you're watching the Elgin Owl Coaches Show here from Burrito Miko on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Search Oklahoma Sports Network and watch from anywhere.
And we're back live here at Burrito Mico, as we are every usually Taco Tuesday, but here a little bit of an audible this week, and gotta work with adjustments and be ready for anything that weather throws at you. So we're here on a Wednesday, but usually we'll be here every Taco Tuesday from Burrito Mico. So got Elgin coach Chalmer White alongside of us. Coach, got Bethany this week 0, so it's always said had a scrimmage last week, but got the real one coming up. This one, these do count. Obviously, non-district. We've talked about that a little bit throughout the years we've done this. Non-district, we're not, don't count towards playoff seeding or whatnot. But obviously, you want to win every one that you play and can suit up for. So Bethany this week, they've got a little bit of revenge on their mind. Obviously, we talked about that in the coach's office a little yesterday. But the last time that they were on the field, they were on our field ending their season. So they'll have that in the back of their minds. Obviously, different teams. We're a different team than we were last year, and they're a different team as well. But talk a little bit about what you've seen on film. I mean, it's hard to watch film in a week 0 opponent because you don't know who the new guys are. But obviously, saw some scrimmage tape or whatnot. So talk a little bit about what to expect from Bethany, and obviously we always talk about it. I mean, the next play is the next play, and the standard is the standard. And we're our opponent or whatnot. But what have you seen from Bethany, and what should we expect out of that game on Friday up there at Southern Nazarene?
Yeah, we got a small sample size, with the scrimmage. Athletic jumps out at you. Returning quarterback jumps out at you. A new defensive structure jumps out at you from what we had game planned for last year. And 78% pass or whatever it was sticks out, to us. So they like to throw the ball around from what they've shown. It's a small sample size, so, how much can you really, gauge off of that?
Right.
But, and that's the thing, that they're ready to go. They played us last year. Their season ended, and they don't want to do that again, And so that's things we got to be prepared for. We got to be prepared for going up there, traveling on the road early. And we've done a good job of hammering all those things in of kind of what it takes. And Coach Arthur does a good job. They change and tweak and to fit their personnel really well. And he's been doing that for 10-plus years. So they got a good staff over there that are going to have a good game plan against us, and we've got to combat that with, execution, hard work, and all those things we've got to do. But, they're going to be actually taking our place in 4A1 where we were, so that's kind of an interesting dynamic. But very good football team. I don't know when the last time they've missed the playoffs has been. But it's a really, it's a great game, week 0 opener against a quality opponent, which is what you want. You got to gear up for it. And we told our guys we're going to war, so you got to prepare for war. Yeah. And so excited to go up there Friday. Mainly, it's been a long fall camp. I'm ready to get it going.
Right. Yeah, you get to hit somebody else. Obviously, last week you did get to hit a couple other people. Had the scrimmage or whatnot. But a scrimmage is just. It's not a game atmosphere. It's still got the Guardian caps on and some of that type of stuff. So not quite the same. So it'll be interesting to see that one. We'll have that one live for you on the Oklahoma Sports Network at kickoff for 7. Pregame show will start at 6:30. Before we get you out of here, wanted to kind of touch on it. We got, I think they were named this week. The 5 captains for this year. Talk a little bit about those guys. We've got Hudson Begley, Jackson Deal, Caden Boletto, Kaysen Meyer, and John Lohman. Hudson and Kaysen were captains last year. Jackson, Caden, and John are stepping into that role. Talk a little bit about what you expect from those captains, and also how those captains get chosen and things like that.
Yeah, so how we choose them, we send out a team-wide vote, and that comes out, and then our coaches kind of have a vote, which kind of double points it, and we decide from there. And we've done it a lot of different ways. We've started out with 3. We've had to find another one. We've had 4. We've had 5. It's a lot of hard work, but at the end of the day, it's very important. Like the leaders of your football team, right? And great football teams have more than just who their captains are. And so, I thought this group was a fun group to pick and the right guys because they hit a lot of different position groups within who they are, right? You've got Hudson and Jackson to kind of patrol the line of scrimmage with those guys. Kaysen at linebacker and receiver. And then Caden obviously at quarterback and John at DB and running back. So we're hitting a lot of position groups. Yeah. I met with those guys after we announced them and kind of led down the basis for what this looks like and what we got to have you do and what you got to commit to.
Right.
It's not just going out for the coin toss.
Right.
Like,
No. There's a lot more to it.
They need to be a direct reflection of me and the program and what needs to happen.
Right.
And I told them, I said, if you got to go drive the bus the game, that's what you got to do.
Right. Well, it kind of goes back to that locker room accountability stuff and things like that. They've got to kind of control
and I'm
that.
excited to grow them because I want more out of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think that they're all going to be willing to do that and receptive because I think, this team means a lot to them, and I want them to do it the right way and, forever be known as the right guys to lead the program.
Yeah. And, like I said, one thing about it, looking at this list and whatnot, knowing all of them fairly good personally or whatnot, they're great football players, but they're even better kids. That's that's a testament to the program, it's a testament to their families, it's a testament to you guys as coaches, too. One thing about what we've kind of developed here and whatnot is good kids that are, being raised right, and you guys are doing a great job of kind of, taking them somewhat into manhood and whatnot. So, Coach, thanks for joining us tonight. Good luck on the season. Look forward to many more of these.
Here.
Hopefully, it's here. That's the big thing about it. Hopefully, we're here for another 14 weeks as we have been the last couple of years. But, again, congratulations on all the success up to date. And good luck and looking forward to this 2026 version. It's going to be a fun ride.
Let's go, bro.
All right, baby. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have two of those captains that we just talked about, Kason Meyer and Caden Belletto will join us here in a second. You're watching Elgin Coaches Show here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
And we're back live at Burrito Miko. I'm joined now by two senior captains, Kason Meyer and Caden Belletto. Guys, thanks for joining us today. Now seniors, huh? So, Kason, we'll start with you. Talk a little bit about what this senior year means to you and how fall camp is going to date.
It means a lot. For me personally, it's probably the last time I'll put the pads on because I'm just going to take a different route in college. So, that's hitting the heart a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, fall camp, I think we've been out there working. We went out to the scrimmage. We didn't do what we really wanted to do. But, that happens. But I think we got that fixed this week and we're ready to go.
Talk a little bit about being the quarterback of that defense. Now you're coming into your senior year. Last year you kind of filled that role and did a great job, led the team in tackles. Talk a little bit about what it means kind of being the quarterback of the defense and what we should expect out of the defense this year.
Yeah, it means a lot, especially because that means Coach Baker's trusting me a lot. So I really like to be the guy that people depend on because I like to think that I can, fulfill that. So, yeah, and then I think our defense is just going to be like it was the last 3-4 years. We're going to swarm the ball. We're going to hit the ball, and you're going to have trouble trying to go get that first down, go get that touchdown. We're not just going to let you have it.
Caden, let's kind of move on to you a little. Obviously, last year was your first year starting. You got 14 starts under your belt. Talk a little bit about how having now that 1 year under your belt, how it, not that it was easy this summer by any stretch of the imagination, but the new leadership kind of role that you're taking on and what to expect out of you this year.
I'm definitely going into this season calmer and less stressed out, knowing that I've been there before and knowing that I can do it and my team trusts me. And, just knowing that my team trusts me and I can do it.
Talk a little bit about, like I said, kind of your command of the offense now. Obviously, you're much more comfortable in the offense. With those 14 starts under your belt, obviously things are a little bit slow. Things slow down a little now. So talk a little bit about what to expect. Is that this year's offense is a little bit different, kind of some of those things.
This year I'm expecting to run the offense definitely a lot better. because I've been there before, and I just feel like it's going to go a lot smoother. I know a lot more. I know going into this season, everybody wants to win, and we're going to get it done.
Talk a little bit about what it means. Kason, obviously last year the team also voted you as a captain, but talk about what it means to be a captain 2 years in a row and kind of what that means, and to you and your teammates. We talked a little bit with Coach Wyatt about how that kind of gets voted on or whatnot. Know that it's from your teammates and things. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in trust, and I think that trust will get you a long ways, especially when you're out there and you're depending on another guy to help you out. And I feel like all 11 guys on defense and the other 11 on offense all trust me that I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do my job. When we're in the locker room, I'm going to do my job and keep everything running right. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to trust, and I'm glad that my guys trust me.
Caden, kind of same question for you. This first year, your senior year, got named as a captain by your teammates. Talk a little bit about what that honor means to you, and like I said, the respect for your teammates and things like that.
It definitely means a lot, knowing that my teammates can trust me and that I can go out there and support and show everybody that I can do it and that I've been there before. And yeah.
All right, let's get into kind of some of the fun questions. I'm almost getting ready to get you guys out of here. I mean, we're going to talk about putting the student in student athlete. So, okay, I mean, I know y'all are seniors and y'all have been around for a while, so you don't have as many classes or whatnot. But, Kason, what has been your favorite subject throughout your Elgin high school career?
We were actually just talking about this earlier. We have the exact same schedule, and it's one class.
Okay.
But, throughout, I don't know. I really liked having Coach O when he was here. He didn't make me do anything. It was a math class. I didn't do anything. I just got a 100.
There we go. All right, Coach O, great job. Caden, same question for you with your one class.
I think I'm on Kason with this one. Coach O's class was the breeze.
Oh, okay. Coach O, we got to do some talking. I mean, like I said, you're not putting the student in student athlete at all. Then obviously the one we asked last year, and got a lot of got a lot of traction there, so we'll stick with it so far again this year. Different team. So, and I know both of you have nothing but brothers. Both of you have two brothers, but at the end of the day, if you did have a sister, who would not be allowed to date your sister?
Nobody on this football team would be allowed to date my sister.
Not a single person.
I don't think any of them would come around if they dated my sister seeing my dad.
Yeah, Booty would probably be a little bit intimidating if you're gonna show up to date his daughter, I would imagine. Caden, same question for you. You can take the easy way out, or are you gonna call somebody out?
I'll go Tucker New Henson.
You gonna go with who?
Tucker New Henson.
Tucker New Henson. Okay. All right, guys. Well, hey, we look forward to big years out of both of you guys. Congratulations on getting named captains. Looking forward to big senior seasons out of you, obviously building off of your junior years, and look forward to watching you guys play. And as I always tell y'all, I'm here if y'all need anything, so don't hesitate to reach out. But really looking forward to watching you guys play and lead this team, and hopefully we can go as far as we've gone the last couple of years.
Sir.
Good luck to you guys, all right?
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and wrap this one up. You're watching Elgin Owl Coaches Show here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Oklahoma Sports.
And we're back here at Burrito Miko, as we will be throughout the season. I want to thank Miguel again, as always, for allowing us the opportunity to host this show here, right here in Elgin, America, so that way we can bring the Elgin Owl Coaches Show directly to you from Elgin. So, like I said, got a great recap of what was going on during the fall camp and what we should expect from this 2026 version of the Elgin Owls. Got a big one on tap for you in week 0 against the Bethany Broncos up at Southern Nazarene. So hope that everybody can make it up there, but if you're unable to make it up there, obviously watch the game live on all of our streaming platforms. We've got Roku, Apple. We got our website. We got Apple TV. You can join us just about anywhere that you can subscribe to an app. So we really want you to join us and enjoy all of our 16 schools on the network. As we're getting ready to wrap up, I'm joined here by my two beautiful girls, Maisie and Marley Saylor. And as we wrap up every week here on the Elgin Owl Coaches Show, we will go ahead with one big, what do we always say, girls? Go Owls! Looking forward to the 2026 season. You're watching Elgin Owl football here on the Oklahoma Sports Network, and we'll see you Friday up in Bethany.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.